back to the grind with the only free MMA channel that fucking matters, full-time MMA. And first things first, message to the hitters. I got a request. I need some constructive criticism. Some opinions. What do y'all think about those battle raps? This is my thoughts. I know they're dope as fuck. I'm just wondering if I should put them on a whole different YouTube channel. I'm welcoming constructive criticism here. If you don't like them, please tell me so I can put them on a different channel. So it ain't gotta be in anyone's face who it might turn away. But also, I was thinking about putting it on another channel anyway, just because it could be like a placeholder channel, just in case for some reason this shit gets false flagged. Even though, like I said, everything's 100% free. I know where to get it, the free intro, the free background music, and it's my opinion. And I'm using my own logos and shit. So there should be no way this shit ever gets shut down. We should be good. But I'm just saying, what do you guys think about just putting like those little songs on a different channel, or should I just keep them on this channel? What do y'all think about that? Let me know. Anyways, I'm gonna go let off some motherfucking fireworks with my nieces and nephews and little brothers and my brother and his girl and my girls at work and my motherfucking dog. It's about to be a family affair. And then I'm gonna give my dog a bath. You know, I've been pumping out that content all day. So I'm gonna motherfucking take a little break after this shit and go have some motherfucking do some other shit. But then I'm gonna get done with that and get right back to it. By the way, I'm gonna fuck around and I did the Amanda Nunes versus Shevchenko battle rap. Right after I drop this video, I'm going to drop the Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker co-main event of battle rap session. I already recorded it and shit. I just got to post it. I'm going to post it after this prediction video. I would do the Ultimate Fighter, Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje predictions before this, but we're not going to know who's in the co-main event of that fight until Wednesday's episode of The Ultimate Fighter. So I'm going to do that. I'll probably post that prediction video on Wednesday or Thursday after we know who the co-main event is, so I can give a prediction on the co-main event as well. Also, with all this catching up I had to do, I'm about 2 episodes behind on The Ultimate Fighter, so in this next day or so, it'll give me time to catch up on The Ultimate Fighter, get ready for the finale, get ready for that prediction. So everything's fucking rocking and rolling. I'm feeling good. Fuck it. Let's get to it. Here's my predictions. I got, in the first fight, Anthony Pettis versus Jim Miller. I'm picking Anthony Pettis to win here. And I got some notes on why. Let me pull them up. All right, here's my notes. I'm picking Anthony Pettis to win here because he's only been finished one time in the UFC, and that's not to submission. Jim Miller does submit guys. He's a black belt. He's also lost a submission. But Jim Miller is 3-1 in his last 4 fights. His last loss was to Dustin Poirier, and he beat Thiago Alves, Joe Lozon, and Takanori Gomi. Anthony, and he's overall 28-9. That's Jim Miller, 28-9. Anthony Pettis, 19-6. His last loss was to Max Holloway in the featherweight title fight. If you remember, Anthony Pettis missed weight and in the first or second round was injured, which allowed Max Holloway to finish him for the first time in his career. Before the Max Holloway fight, he beat Charles Oliveira, a guy who is he's known for either getting submitted or submitting guys, and Anthony Pettis, I believe, was able to submit him. That was his win that got him the title fight. Before that, he was on a losing streak at lightweight. He lost his title to Eddie Alvarez. Then he went on to lose to And then he went on to lose 1 or 2 fights before he moved down in weight classes. One thing about Anthony Pettis is he is susceptible to takedowns, but he still doesn't get submitted. So Jim Miller might score some takedowns here, which would help him win the decision. But Jim Miller has lost to some guys like Diego Sanchez and just some other brawler-type guys that he's lost some decisions. I know Anthony Pettis isn't a brawler, but he is a striker, and Anthony Pettis has picked up a few decisions. And also, I do believe that this is a big fight for Anthony Pettis, a huge fight. He's had a lot of shit going on with his losing streak, with the missing weight with Holloway, with his cars getting blown up, with just many things going on with Anthony Pettis. So I think this would be a good time for him to get a W and get back on the right track at lightweight. So I'm picking Anthony Pettis. Jim Miller could win, though. Fabricio Verdun versus Alistair Overeem. I'm going to go ahead and, first I picked Verdun, but then I did a little bit of knowledge and I had to go back and switch my pick before I posted the video. Actually, it wasn't even like I had my picks locked in. I was only predicting the second fight. But I did some knowledge, and I definitely switched my pick. Here's the knowledge. Alistair Overeem, 5-1 in his last 6 fights. So he is 5-1 in his last 6 fights, but in his last 4 losses, all of them were to knockout. Now they all haven't been recent. His most recent loss to Stipe was a knockout, but before that, he was on a 4-fight winning streak. After that, he's also beat Mark Hunt since then. So Alistair Overeem, man, I always like to root for him because he's one of my favorite fighters. I think he's one of the most experienced heavyweights, just one of the best heavyweights in the world, actually. The only problem is he is so susceptible to knockouts. And there's all type of reasons people will give you for that, what that is. Usually it's going to come back to steroids and how he can't use them anymore. But, I mean, these guys that fought in Pride, steroids were encouraged. So it's not like they were just over there trying to cheat. They were cheating guys. It was a level playing field. You know, it was like, for instance, some guys were prescribed testosterone replacement therapy by their doctor, and then it became illegal. And it's not like they were cheating; they were prescribed that. So yes, you are a cheater if you use it after it's banned, but you weren't a cheater when you started using it. So you know, a lot of these Pride guys, people call them cheaters and stuff, but I mean, unless you get popped in the UFC when you know it's illegal. You know, I'm a little different on that. So Overeem, though, he is in the UFC now. He does know it's illegal, so he can't use anything that a lot of these Pride guys were using. So he does get knocked out, and it's crazy. You'll see him get touched, and it's just like he just goes down. And fucking, I hope Verdum doesn't touch him, because if he does, he's definitely got a chance of winning. But these guys have fought before. Alistair Overeem did win that fight. The last two fights for Alistair Overeem were Mark Hunt. He won by finish. He finished Mark Hunt, UFC 209, I believe. And then also he fought Stipe Miocic, finished in the title fight. Now let's get to Fabricio Verdum. I have him losing this fight. Okay, 1 second. Alistair Overeem is ranked number 3, and he's also 42-15 overall. Now to Fabricio Verdum, who's ranked number 1. 21-6, less experienced, but in his last 8 fights he's 7-1. So both of these guys are on impressive streaks. Both of these guys have only lost once during those streaks, and that was both to Stipe Miocic. And they have fought before. Alistair got the nod, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the nod to Alistair. Fabricio is a very, very good heavyweight. Both of these guys are 2 of the best heavyweights of all time, ranked number 1 and number 3. So this fight's probably going to be a finish. Either guy could win. I'm giving Overeem the nod. Curtis Blades versus Daniel Omelianchuk. I just had to put cuck at the end of that. Omelianchuk. All right. Versus Curtis Blades. I'm going with Curtis Blades here. Curtis Blades is 6-1 and won no contest. He's actually 7-1. His last fight was a finish. These guys are heavyweights, by the way. Curtis Blades' last fight was a finish, but it was overturned. He won by knockout, but it was overturned because he was smoking weed with 3 other fighters before, during, or right after the event. So the fight was overturned for weed. I believe he was one of the guys with him on the Kevin Gastelum card when they all got busted for weed. So these guys, but he is still 6-1, technically 7-1. And he's not ranked right now in heavyweight. He's fighting against Daniel Omelianchuk, who's number 15 ranked in heavyweight division. He's 19-7-1. So Daniel Omelianchuk is more experienced, but look at doing the knowledge, man. He's coming off of 2 straight losses to Timothy Johnson and Stefan Struve. He's 4-4 in his last 8 fights, and 5 of those are decisions. So over 50% of his last 8 fights are decisions. So he's not the most entertaining fighter, not the most exciting fighter, doesn't have the best record, only ranked number 15, and he's going against a young up-and-comer who actually does finish fights. Curtis Blades has only fought 3 times in the UFC, and he's 2-1 in those fights. His only loss was to Francis Ngannou, and all 3 of those fights were TKO KOs. He was finished by Francis Ngannou, Dr. Stoppage. Then he came back and picked up 2 stoppage victories. So Curtis Blades, I'm picking to get another win here, go up to 7-1. Hopefully he doesn't smoke no weed before the main card and get this shit overturned. Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker. This is a really tough one here. I wanted to go with Yoel. He's on a fucking 8-fight winning streak. He's been getting denied his opportunity. He finally got his opportunity at the belt. We still don't get to see him versus Michael Bisping. He's got to fight one more guy before he gets to Michael Bisping, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to get the job done. I thought he was going to be able to do it. I was picking Yoel Romero against a lot of guys, Luke Rockhold and stuff like that. But after Robert Whittaker came out and put on the performance he did against Jacare, I just got to give it to Robert Whittaker. He showed he's a smart fighter. He'll put together a game plan and follow the game plan. He's got the cardio advantage. He's on a 7-fight win streak. He's number 3 ranked in the middleweight division, and he is 19-4. That was Robert Whittaker we were speaking of. Now let's go to Yoel Romero, ranked number 1. Only 1 loss in his career. He's 12-1. He's on an 8-fight winning streak. So Robert Whittaker's on a 7-fight winning streak. Yoel Romero's on an 8-fight winning streak. Robert Whittaker's last 2 wins were over Jacare and Derek Brunson. Yoel Romero's last 2 wins were over Chris Weidman and Jacare. But one problem with Yoel Romero is he has cardio issues. He's been known to do things in between rounds to give him time to get extra breath, as in sit in the corner on the stool too long until the ref says, hey, get up, come on, let's start the fight, because he needs deep breaths, or pouring water on himself, getting himself too wet so someone has to come in and dry him off so he can get extra breaths while he gets dried off. And this is a championship fight. Yoel Romero looked like he was gassed into the 3rd round versus Chris Weidman, and since this fight's going to be 5 rounds, and we know Robert Whittaker is a smart fighter, a cerebral fighter, a guy capable of coming in here and putting together a game plan as in do whatever I can to tire out Yoel Romero, drag him into the 4th and 5th round, and then get the finish once he's wore out, once he's tired, once I see him take a deep breath. And since everybody by now is on to the corner tricks, Yoel Romero's, there's just a lot of things that could go wrong for Yoel Romero here. He's going against a really smart fighter, a guy that will bring him into the later rounds, and also everyone's onto his tricks. So there's just a lot of things, man, here stacking up against Yoel Romero. So I actually have him picking up his 2nd loss here. Now let's move to the main event. Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko. I'm going with Amanda Nunes here, man. This one I did think about for a second. I almost leaned toward Valentina for a second, but then I was just, nah. I just had to lean back toward Valentina. See, this is sort of like the co-main event as to where anyone rooting for Valentina Shevchenko is going to be expecting Amanda Nunes to gas. To me, there's a difference here. Amanda Nunes has not been, her gas tank hasn't been exposed as recently as Yoel Romero. Also, she's not as big as Yoel Romero, so she's not built the same way as Yoel Romero. She is a monster, like for the weight class. She is a fucking beast. She's one of my favorite fighters, I swear, especially a women's bantamweight. Amanda Nunes, easily one of my favorite fighters. And once I did the knowledge, man, it's just full Amanda Nunes from there. Let's go into it. Amanda Nunes is 14-4, 8-2 in the UFC. Those 2 losses, the last loss came in 2015, and the loss before that wasn't since 2011, which was only her 2nd fight in the UFC. So she's only lost once since 2015, and in that fight she did gas out. It was a fight she was winning, but she gassed out and got finished. So really, Amanda Nunes, she's a beast. So she could easily be 8-1 in the UFC on a damn near 7-8 fight winning streak if she didn't gas out that one fight. So she's very impressive. She knocks girls out, TKOs girls, submits girls. She finishes girls. She's a woman. She's a woman that finishes fights. She ain't out there to play around. The only chicks that are gonna try and really be able to handle Amanda Nunes are the girls who are gonna go out there and just try and tire her out. But like I said, Amanda Nunes is smaller than someone like Yoel Romero, so I think she'll be able to. And I think she's not. Yoel Romero's about pretty old. I believe like 38 years old, if I believe. So she's not set in her ways as much. She's younger. She's able to, I believe, change her game still, alter her game. I believe she's been sitting out since the last probably December, I believe, since she fought Ronda Rousey. And since then, I'm sure she's been working on her cardio. Since she's became Amanda Nunes doesn't strike me as the person to become champion and then get lackadaisical, or the type of person to become champion and get complacent. She's the type of person to get the champion and then try to become the GOAT, the women's GOAT, and then work harder and then work on her cardio and not worry about her, her fancy cars or mink suits. She just wants to be champion and hold it as possible. Amanda Nunes to me seems like that girl. And now let's go into the resumes a little bit. Just a little bit. Amanda Nunes, she finishes bitches. You gotta love her. And her last wins were over Valentina Shevchenko, Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey. I think them 3 names were her last 3 wins. Valentina Shevchenko, Miesha Tate to win the belt, Ronda Rousey to defend the belt. And she fucking shut Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey out, honestly. She dominated the girls, made them quit. I mean, it was a good fight. Valentina Shevchenko was a decision fight that Amanda Nunes won, but Valentina Shevchenko almost came back. Amanda Nunes started to run out of gas, but she ended up getting the decision. So yeah, I'm going with Amanda Nunes here. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because they're starting to fucking light fireworks without me, and I'm motherfucking pissed off. Big ass kid. Fuck you, Tamat, dude. Anyways, I'm about to get some shit done. I might be back on here tonight. I'll definitely be dropping that fucking battle rap. And don't forget, since it's been so long, motherfuckers, let me know what you think about them battle raps. Should I keep dropping them on this channel? Should I put them on a different channel? Should I fucking leave them alone? Just constructive criticism, all that shit. Let me know. I don't know what to say, man. Fuck it. It is what it is. Let the hitters know what the fuck you Tamat in the comments. Dude.